For years. That's how long Aaron Rodgers waited to feel this moment again. For years of questions. For years of doubt. For years of people wondering if the window had finally slammed shut. Now, on January 12th, under playoff lights, Aaron Rodgers is back, and he's not whispering his intentions. He's making them loud. Because when the Pittsburgh Steelers step onto the field against the Houston Texans in the wild-card round, this isn't just a playoff game. It's a statement game. A legacy game. And maybe, just maybe, a record-breaking night that could push Rodgers past Patrick Mahomes in NFL playoff history. And the timing? It couldn't be more perfect. This is NFL SnapWire. Let's get into it. Aaron Rodgers hasn't played meaningful January football since 2022. That gap, the longest postseason absence of his career, became ammunition for critics who were ready to write the final chapter of his story. But when Rodgers spoke to the media on January 8th, there was no nostalgia in his voice. No looking back. Just quiet confidence mixed with a little fire. Rodgers reminded everyone exactly why he still plays. He said it feels good to be back. That this is why you grind through the season. This is why you endure injuries, criticism, and ugly losses to play meaningful football late in the year. And then came the line that really hit home. At 6-6, Rodgers knew exactly what people were saying. He knew the narrative. That the Steelers were slipping. That the season was falling apart. That Mike Tomlin's seat was heating up. That Pittsburgh might stumble into mediocrity once again. He said plenty of people, even some in that very room, were talking about Tomlin getting fired. Publicly. Privately. Loudly. And now? Those conversations are gone. The Steelers didn't collapse. They surged. They won 4 of their final 5 games. They played their best football when it mattered most. And they didn't just sneak into the playoffs, they stormed in by taking the AFC North crown. The moment that sealed it? A dramatic 26-24 win over the Baltimore Ravens in the final week, punctuated by a missed game-winning field goal from Ravens kicker Tyler Loop. Steelers fans exhaled. Critics fell silent. And suddenly, the team that many had buried was alive and dangerous. Still, the skepticism hasn't vanished completely. Because history doesn't lie. Mike Tomlin hasn't guided Pittsburgh past the first round of the playoffs since 2016. That's nearly a decade of early exits, heartbreak, and unmet expectations. And statistically, this Steelers team doesn't scream Super Bowl contender. They enter the postseason as the only AFC playoff team without a top 10 offense or a top 10 defense. That's not just concerning, it's historically rare. In fact, only one team this century has managed to win a Super Bowl without ranking top 10 in either category. The 2007 New York Giants. The team that shocked the undefeated Patriots in Super Bowl 42. So yes, the numbers suggest the Steelers are swimming upstream. But Rodgers doesn't believe this team fits neatly into spreadsheets and percentages. He believes momentum matters. And right now, Pittsburgh has it. There's just one massive problem standing in their way. The Houston Texans. If the Steelers are confident, the Texans are scorching hot. Houston enters the playoffs riding a jaw-dropping 9-game winning streak, the longest active streak in the NFL. Think about how wild that is. This Texans team started the season 0-3. They were 3-5 heading into November. Most people had already written them off. And then something clicked. 9 straight wins later, Houston didn't just grab a playoff spot, they locked down the top AFC wildcard seed. Even more impressive? Their defense. The Texans finished the regular season ranked first in total defense, allowing just 277.2 yards per game. Best in the league. That's bad news for any offense, especially one like Pittsburgh's that already struggles to crack the top 10. This matchup isn't friendly. It isn't forgiving. And it certainly isn't easy. Rodgers knows that. If the Steelers stumble here, the same questions they silenced in December will roar back to life. Is Mike Tomlin still the right coach? Is Aaron Rodgers' time in Pittsburgh nearing its end? Was this run just smoke and mirrors? But if the Steelers win, everything changes. Because Rodgers isn't just chasing a playoff victory. He's chasing history. Right now, Tom Brady sits alone at the top of the NFL mountain with 88 career playoff touchdown passes, a record that feels untouchable. But behind Brady, that race is heating up. Patrick Mahomes currently holds second place with 46 playoff touchdown passes. Aaron Rodgers? He's right there. 45 playoff touchdown passes. Tied with Joe Montana. 1 touchdown against the Texans ties Mahomes. 2 touchdowns leapfrog him. And here's what makes Rodgers' number so incredible. Every single one of those playoff touchdowns came with the Green Bay Packers across 11 different postseason runs. No super teams. No dynastic defenses year after year. Just sustained excellence. Now, at 42 years old, Rodgers has a unique window. Mahomes, the man ahead of him, isn't even in the playoffs this year, sidelined while recovering from season-ending knee surgery. For once, time is on Rodgers' side. At least for now. If Rodgers delivers against Houston, he could claim the number 2 spot on the all-time playoff touchdown list, even if that position may not last forever. Because make no mistake, most expect Mahomes, just 30 years old, to soar past both Rodgers and Montana before his career ends. But history doesn't care about projections. It cares about moments. And Rodgers has one right in front of him. That's what makes this wild card matchup so fascinating. A red-hot Texans team fueled by belief, defense, and momentum. On the other, a veteran quarterback who has seen everything, heard everything, and still believes there's another chapter to write. Rodgers isn't promising a Super Bowl. He isn't guaranteeing a run. He's saying something simpler and more dangerous. Anyone can make a run. All you need is momentum, confidence, and belief. And for the first time in years, Pittsburgh has all three. Whether that's enough to survive Houston's defense remains to be seen. But one thing is undeniable. Aaron Rodgers is no longer playing to prove he belongs. He's playing to remind everyone why doubting him has never been a good idea. So now the question turns to you. Will Aaron Rodgers silence the doubters once again and pass Patrick Mahomes in playoff history? Or will the Texans' defense bring this comeback story to a sudden halt? Drop your predictions in the comments. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for NFL SnapWire, where we bring you the stories behind the moments that define the league. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.